Allie Black brings a journalist's eyes and ears to her poetry. Her literary heroes taught her that a poet doesn't have to be abstract to be powerful. Her stories of friends, family, and everyday people celebrate the lives of people whose voices often go unheard. And her story is the final entry in our Idea Stream series, Equity in Art, spotlighting artists of color living and working in Northeast Ohio. Idea Stream senior arts reporter David C. Barnett slipped back in the studio here while I was talking to Andy. Welcome back. Thanks.
Always glad to be with you, Rick.
So provide us some information, some background here on Allie Black.
She's the former Allie McLean, who married another Cleveland artist, photographer Donald Black Jr., whose work you may well know. He's a stunning photographer. As a teenager, she loved reading and listening to poetry. She loved the cadences, the drama, the pauses, the sounds of the words in your mouth. She loved poetry classes at Euclid High School, and she said she was a little bit envious of the girls who could read really well. Mm-hmm. And when we were talking about this, she referred to, she says, you know, the Jills and the Christies and the Christines were so good. And I thought wait a minute, what are you saying by using those names? Is that coded language about those names? And here's what she had to say.
Those were all the white girls all throughout my childhood education. It was predominantly white. The folks in, honors classes, they were mainly white. The folks who got the teacher's attention, mainly white. And it was mainly white females. They were all white girls, and I was determined to read just as good as they could.
So that was her attitude. It was like the competition was to read better than her classmates.
Mm-hmm. You said she also got some shade from her black friends because she wanted to read and act like the white girls.
Well, it wasn't so much that she wanted, that wasn't in her mind, but some people were saying that her full name is Allison. Mm-hmm. And traditionally, that isn't seen, but in some sectors, that isn't seen as a black name. That is an upper white girl's name or something like that. So she's kind of caught between these two poles of trying to satisfy everybody. So it's a difficult position to be in.
Mm-hmm. That's why she changed her name. I get it now. So she sees herself as a poet, but she also sees herself as a journalist.
I think maybe a better way to describe it is that she uses a journalist's instincts to pick up the little details of life and then use them in her poetry to put her reader in a scene. When she went to college, she figured she wanted to be a writer, and she figured you probably can't support yourself as a poet. There's not many poet jobs up there that are making a whole bunch of... So she tried taking journalism classes at the University of Toledo, but that wasn't a good fit. Didn't work out. Didn't like the deadlines. So, and also when we talk about poetry, I think sometimes when you say poetry and journalism, you go, well, how do those two go together? I mean, you think of poetry, you think of abstract things like the beauty of a flower.
Right, as opposed to journalists who are in fact.
The travails of love. But she learned some very life-changing lessons from reading the poet Nikki Giovanni, whose writing showed her that you could write poems in a journalistic way, tell stories about real people in a poetic form. She recently published her first book of poetry. It's called If It Heals at All, which is filled with some of these real stories. And here's an example. For instance, we've got an excerpt that we're going to play in a second here about a shooting on Kinsman Road about 5 years ago. Do you recall this? There was a baby in a car, and the baby became an inadvertent victim of a drive-by shooting. That, right. I remember as a journalist myself going to the news conference with Calvin Williams at the police headquarters, and he was crying at this. And it was just like a really down time. Well, Allie had to ride a bus past that scene every day on her way to work to create, and then she watched that scene. She looked at the yellow tape, she looked at the teddy bears, and she made a poem which she called Kinsman. Here's what that sounds like.
The day after the baby is killed by a gunshot wound to the chest, you still have to ride behind death's blood-red breath. You still have to picture the baby in the car trying to grab the bullet as if it were a glossy, sweet thing. You do not want to imagine the pitch of the baby's wail. You do not want to see the women walking with bright white Save-A-Lot bags wrapped around their wrist. You do not want to see the man at the RTA bus stop swatting at a bee. You do not want to see anyone trying to hurt anything.
It gets down to, it's kind of what you might call documentary poetry. She's picking up all the little details. It's a thing I certainly like to do when I'm going out doing stories, but picking out those details. A man swatting at a bee, it's so evocative.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what brings her stuff alive.
I'm sure that brought a lot of people right back to that scene because that was a tough time.
It was just horrible.
And I understand also that Allie fancies herself a teacher.
She has worked for years with young women, in at-risk girls, and even incarcerated young women to teach them some of the lessons she learned about taking real life, real feelings, and putting them into poetry, learning how to express themselves. So it's how you sometimes take deeply held feelings and put them out there and work with them, understand them. It's like having a good conversation with somebody, you know? It's like you get out, you figure out what you're feeling about something by putting it into words and letting other people hear it.
Does she have a plan for where she wants her future to go?
She is going to continue to go where she's going to go. It took her 6 years to get this book published, and I think there's more of an openness for other voices in the publishing world, and she's one of the strongest ones coming up right now.
Tell us the name of the book again.
The name of the book is If It Heals at All. It sounds bleak, but it's talking about sometimes we try to put bows on life and make things seem easy and solvable, and sometimes you have to really consider what is going to be the outcome of something, and sometimes just expressing the pain, expressing the situation, expressing the love can help you get through things.
The book is out. David, thank you for giving us more about Allie Black's story. Thank you really for the entire Equity and Art series. You and the arts team putting together a nice foursome there. We appreciate it.
This is a form that we really like to do.
Yeah, and you can check out the whole thing, folks, at arts.ideastream.org. David C. Barnett, thank you.
You got it.
There's an editor's note at the front of the piece noting my mistakes and that changes have been made. Tomorrow on The Sound of Ideas, Rick will on air issue an apology for us misrepresenting you. So we tried to get this together as quickly as possible. This is a story about being heard, and I didn't precisely hear what you were saying, but we want to share your story, an accurate story. It's been a long path for you to get published at all, so it's important to talk about that.
Yeah, I'm just so infuriated. I mean,
I understand.
I never had shame about my name. I never said that. I never said that I changed my name to Allie because it had anything to do with white girls. I never said that.
No,
and then
you didn't say that second one. I didn't. I misinterpreted the whole line you had about talking about Allison being a white girl's name, and people let you know that. So I made that leap of logic.
And my thing is, what is this a story about? I don't want to, I thought this was a story about me as a writer. And even me as a writer is wasn't represented correctly. It didn't take me 10 years. That was the initial mistake. When you mentioned that the writers in the selected poems of Nikki Giovanni were Jericho Brown and Ada Limon, those writers weren't even published during those years.
Yeah,
So
I get that.
I mean, all of it is.
You did say 10 years to get published, but not this book. But you did tell me, and that's accurately how I had it in there. You said it's taken me over 10 years to get published, and now I'm finally seeing the results of that.
Right, but I never said that it took the book 10 years.
I never said that either. I never said that it took the book. If you check on the site, all I did was change 10 to 6. I didn't.
And it's like it's mansplaining. It's like
I get it.
You don't.
I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that person.
But you are.
And the thing that Allie, and you can say I'm just bullshitting you. but I'm not. I'm going to take this with me for a long time. This is I set you up and to make you feel ashamed in the public, and I sincerely apologize for that. I'm not just saying that. But I can't. That's fine.
You don't say that to everybody?
Yeah, like,
So-
is this going to be mentioned? Are you going to say that to folks? And even the conversation with Rick Jackson, I mean, it just felt so weak and,
Yeah.
just the conversation between you two about poetry sort of downplayed even the art of poetry.
Okay.
It is just, I mean, I have people texting me and calling me all day infuriated. Now people are going to be writing letters to IdeaStream, just so you know. And folks are really, really, really upset because people know that is not me. I'm not ashamed of being black. I'm not ashamed of my name. I've told you about where my name came from and how I was named after my grandmother. None of that was mentioned. It was turned into a...
Yeah, it was. Yeah. At the end,
What the
I
conversation?
had the
Quit
whole
defending
thing.
yourself.
I'm talking about on air today between you and Rick Jackson. No one mentioned my grandmother and me being named after my grandmother and being proud of that. My name being Allie is just a simple nickname because it's short for Allison. That's it. And I never
get
said
it.
anything. And I never said that. It's so much stuff there's so many things that I did not say. And if I had known that this was going to happen, I don't care about being represented if I'm going to be represented inaccurately.
I understand.
You could have just left me alone. Because this is horrible. And for people to call me and to email me, I have my family and my friends listening, co-workers, my entire job, and everybody has the same reaction. That was not a good representation of you. And then I'm explaining to people how all of the inaccuracies. Like, why do I have to do that when I didn't say any of those things? And it's like exploiting somebody to make them seem like they have a desire to be white at a time where it is a very sensitive time
Exactly.
Absolutely.
for black people. And that's exactly what it sounds like and looks like.
Maybe not to you, but to everybody else.
Is that airing back on tonight, what was played today? Hello?
I don't know, but let me check.
Find out and cancel it.
Yeah, please don't play that again. And hopefully, isn't Biden making an address tonight, I think?
Yeah, Biden will take it up.
Okay, can you make sure that happens? Because what was aired today, I do not ever want to hear that again.
No. Absolutely.
You owe me a public apology.
And what is this? Who's going to make an apology tomorrow?
Rick is going to say on the air.
And what is he going to say? He didn't do the story. It needs to be both of you. This is absolutely ridiculous, man. And this is what they talk about Cleveland and what it's like being black, and let alone being a black woman in Cleveland. Is there any way that I can talk to Kevin Martin?
Absolutely.
May I have his information?
I will send that to you.
Because I tried to send an email and it said it was access denied or blocked or something. So
No.
Looks like-
I will give you that. I'll give you all of that information.
You owe me a public apology.
So, and where's the apology from you going to appear? Or is this just over the phone?
Well, that's what the editors decided. I can.
Who's the editor that I need to talk to?
I volunteer. Let me take that reaction to to them because I volunteered that up front before they even started talking.
Yeah, because this can get real ugly. It's already ugly. You're talking to a writer, someone who can write something up and send it to the damn New York Times, because this is ridiculous.
I get it.
So freaking ridiculous. And had I known this, and something told me to ask you if I could see all of this before it goes to print and before it airs. But I didn't second guess it because we had a verbal conversation, and I would have never thought that you would have taken what I said out of context and turned it into something that you perceived or heard that I said. I had no worries about that.
Would you accept that there's a core of correct information about you, your concerns, what you stand for?
Probably towards the end, talking about the pandemic. And sometimes when I'm quoted, I didn't even say some of those things. That I never said the word abstract. I never said anything about poetry being abstract. I didn't say that. Because those words never came out of my mouth because I would never refer to poetry as abstract. So it kind of insinuates that, you know, the poetry that I write is easy or is, you know,
No.
And well, that's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like. And I never said that poetry was abstract. I've never described poetry as abstract ever in my life. I know for a fact I never even said that word in our whole entire conversation. The multiple conversations we have, never said abstract.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you what. How about if I pull all the exact quotes and provide you with the audio?
No. For what? You need that.
No, I don't. Provide me with the audio for what?
Of our interview.
I have it. I have it myself. I recorded it on my phone.
Oh, okay.
I have the audio. So.
Well, then I'll point in the transcripts where I pulled some of this stuff from, just so that I can. Maybe you can understand. You know, I'm not going to ask you to understand it. I understand.
No, it's just flat out. This is the prime example of mansplaining. It's just period. Taking somebody's words and twisting them, and then I fancy myself as a teacher. That is so fucking offensive. I've been teaching since 2002. He needs to specifically say that. I'm not imagining or dreaming or hoping that I can teach. I've been doing it.
No, you're right about that. You said that. It was wrong.
So please send me the contact information for Kevin Martin.
I will do that.
And I just don't have anything else to say.
Make sure that known in there tonight.
Yeah, and just please make sure that it doesn't air tonight. I just never want anyone to ever hear any of those lies again. That is just, it's so sickening what this is and what it's become. On my mother's birthday. God.
Yeah. You didn't deserve this.
Yeah, so send me the information.
Figure out how to get in.
And
figure out getting in on a public apology.
And I'll be listening. What time is this coming on tomorrow?
It'll be between 9 and 10. I'm not sure when they'll do that.
Yeah, and it would mean a lot if what you're saying is true about being sorry and being horrified that this has happened to me. If you made a public apology,
I would like to do that. I would also like to give you some context about where it was coming from.
I don't even.
I certainly didn't make make stuff up, but I made wrong connections. I made wrong connections between some things.
Perception.
Yeah, yeah. I don't care to. It's already been revealed how you interpreted what I said, and it's inaccurate. You know, I don't understand why there was an interpretation anyway when you could have just quoted me, which is, to me, feels like a superiority complex. Like, what was the point of that? What was the point of us having a conversation if you were just going to summarize what I took and mansplained it and made it into what you think I'm saying? I don't understand.
Any story does that. Most any story does that. In a newspaper.
Well, I don't want that. Then pull all the damn stories from me, because that's not. I don't want to be represented in a story that's fucking false and wrong. I don't care about NPR or Idea Stream or National Public Radio if it means I have to be misrepresented and lied on and looked like I'm an amateur, or that I'm not deserving of accolades and of what I've actually done in my life.
I really don't think that was in there at all.
It's exactly what was said today. She fancies herself. She also fancies herself as a teacher. That's exactly what that means.
That's what he said. Fancied. I can't get past that.
Look, you can't even accept it.
Yeah.
Ellie,
Is there any way that I can call in live to voice a complaint?
Ellie,
Yeah.
let me bring all that to the editors and find out what's the best way to do this.
Yeah, it's real easy how to fix it. So I really hope that they figure it out, because I'm going to raise hell. And this Kevin Martin CEO and this board woman, Susan, I looked everybody up. So I really hope that you guys fix this and fix it fast. I really do. This is not going to happen to me. Well, it's already happened, but it needs to get fixed.
Let me take care of it.
All right, I have to go. I'm too upset to talk. I gotta go.
Okay, I hear you.
Fucking asshole.
Yeah, can you see that okay?
Yep.
So this guy, he writes me, Daniel, I don't know how much of this has surfaced in Cleveland literary circles, but Allie Black is furious with me and Idea Stream about the online profile I published about her last week. Without a doubt, I made some big mistakes and assumptions, and she feels angry and embarrassed and betrayed. I don't want to duck that anger and just say some nice things and then move on. She is coming to Idea Stream Friday with several other people to discuss all this. And I and my colleagues are ready to listen and learn. But I'm also hoping she'll listen to what I have to say, because this isn't as cut and dry as it sounds. There's another side. Do you have some time today or tomorrow to get on the phone with me for a few minutes to discuss some of this and give me some insight, perspective? Could even be in the evening. Let me know. Thanks. Peace. I hope.
Wow.
I'm like, what?
And what is he trying to? He's trying to figure out what
Are you trying?
What are you trying to figure out? Listen to
Nigga, you know you fucked up.
right.
So like, you fucked up. It ain't really no other side, guy. Like,
No.
you fucked up.
He's
Sit there and what the fuck do you want from me? And why are you asking me? Why are you pulling me into this?
Because
What the fuck?
he thinks
What the fuck?
he thinks you know me, and that he thinks that there's a side of me that's weak and wants to be white, and you can attest to that. uh,
Like I'm gonna tell this guy. I almost said like I'm gonna tell this nigga.
right,
Well, I'm gonna tell this guy.
right.
Like,
Ain't nothing to
you know,
tell.
like I'm gonna tell you.
And what's the other side? It ain't no other side. The other side is listening to that damn audio that I also have. That was none of that stuff was ever ever said. Not riding the bus, not changing my name, not wanting to sound like white girls. Oh, that's some bullshit. And I know it is because it's not true. And that's one thing that I'm not, and it's not a fucking liar. I cannot believe he sent you that at 1:00.
Yes. In the middle of the fucking afternoon. I was like, what the fuck? So I was like, oh, I don't. And then I was like, well, first of all, I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Right.
Like, I'm just trying, like I said, I'm just trying to keep